When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Quick quiz. What injury law firm has been helping people in the District, Maryland, and Virginia for over 35 years? That's right. It's Greenberg and Betterman. Auto accident? Medical malpractice? Get a free consultation by visiting gblawyers.com and feel better.
Welcome back. Thank you for checking out this bonus episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, what I want to talk about is a conversation that I recently had with some of my homeboys in our group chat. So we have this group chat, right? And in this particular group chat that I'm in is me and a bunch of guys that I played football with when I was in college at South Carolina State University. And one of the homies, shout out to Big E, he asked us a question one day. And the question was, does money make you happy? An interesting question. And there's really no right or wrong answer, but an interesting question nonetheless, right? Before I answer the question, I guess I probably should tell you like a little bit about my background. Like for me, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I'd probably say my family was probably like middle class, maybe lower middle class. I don't know. But growing up, like we had, I guess looking back on it, we had everything but money. But we had everything but money. Like everything but money. And what I mean by that is like my mom and dad didn't make, you know, I to be honest, I don't even know how much they made, how much money they made. I would venture to say that I'm positive that my parents never made like six figures. I do know. They didn't make $100 million. They didn't, you know, we didn't have, you know, it wasn't Ricky Schroeder at my crib, right? You know, we ain't had no silver spoons. But I said that to say this, like we still had everything. Me and my brother, we had everything. My little brother. And we had everything that we needed. And I would venture to say that I had everything that I wanted. I can't ever remember like asking for something that I couldn't get. Like they always made sure of that. Well, no, I take that back. I did ask my mom for a starter jacket and she didn't get it for me. And I never got a starter jacket. And I was pretty upset about that. So Mom, if you're listening, you owe me a starter jacket. But I love you anyway. But yeah, we had everything, you know, so even when I'm looking at it from a financial perspective, I was happy and content with everything that we got. So it wasn't like, you know, we went without. Now I'm sure that my parents made certain financial sacrifices, but I don't think, I'll put it like this. There was never a time where I came home and the lights were off when we lived in the projects. There was even when my parents, when we moved and when they bought a house, we still had everything. It was always food in the refrigerator, and lights were always on, and there was always toys and stuff on Christmas. So it wasn't. I remember asking for something one time, and my mom was like, "I don't have no money." And when you're 8 and your mom says she don't have no money, but then you see her go to the grocery store and buy stuff, you're like, "Huh? You said you don't have no money. What do you mean?" But as an adult, when she said, "I don't have no money," I know what she meant, now, but I didn't at 8 or 9 years old. But anyway, money, to answer the question, money doesn't make me happy. And it's twofold. One, I think because, money is obviously, it's a tool. It's something that you use to create things. What makes me happy is, being able to be comfortable. What money does do is it allows me to, provide for myself and provide for my family and those that I love and care about. And it does allow me to do certain things and allows me to go certain places. But those things don't define me or what I'm about as a man. And I think that's very important. But no, it doesn't make me happy. It makes me comfortable. But like I said, it's a tool. And honestly, just like any other tool, you use the tool for what it's worth, and then you put it to the side. Because here's the thing, like, no matter how much money I make, or I will make, or I can make, when it's all said and done, and my time on this earth is over, there's not any money that I can take with me. When old 12 Kyle, many years from now shows up at the pearly gates, they're not gonna ask me what my balance is. I'm not gonna have to put my wings on layaway. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't work like that. But no, it doesn't make me happy, and it doesn't define me either. And then also, I think on the flip side of it, you have to look at the word happy. Happy is a state. And what some people don't realize is that it's a self state. And what I mean by that is, like, you control that state. So, you always hear people, "Oh yeah, I just want to find me a woman that's going to make me happy. I just want to find a man who's going to make me happy." No, relax. Nobody can make you happy. You control your happiness. Now, what they can do is enhance the happiness that you have. That's very possible. That's very plausible. And very likely if you choose, a person. But no, money can't make me happy, because happy is a state and money is a tool. And I have, and I've said it on this podcast before, I have been broke in college at South Carolina State University and had some of the best times of my life when I had no money. None. I had $20 and I was balling out of control. And yeah, I mean, it's a different mindset because, yeah, you're expected to be broke, as a college student, but I even remember, starting off in a marriage with a kid, not financially being where I wanted to, but, being happy, and it had nothing to do with the money. Now, again, the money enhances things. It enables you to buy a house. It enables you to buy a car or cars. It enables you to buy Jordans, and I've done those things. So after you buy it, what do you feel like, And money, contrary to, what people think, money doesn't really change you. Money just really makes you more of what you already are. So if you're a jerk, you'll be a jerk with money. If you're a hoe, you'll be a hoe with money. If you're an asshole, you'll be an asshole with money. That's usually the way it works. Money just enhances it. You just be a bigger asshole, a bigger jerk, or a bigger hoe. That's how it goes. But no, money, while it is good to have, if you will, to my level of comfort, it's not something that pushes my happiness. And, it's just not something that I think you ever really, at least for me, really wrap your head around the concept of that particular tool. Because when you think about it, right? If you make $25,000 a year, you'll want to make $50,000 a year. If you make $50,000, you'll want to make $100,000. You make $100,000, you want to make $200,000. You make $200,000, you want to make $500,000. You make $500,000, you want to make $800,000. I don't know that you're ever satisfied financially, if you will. If you have $1 million, you want $5 million. If you got $10 million, you want $100 million. If you got $100 million, you want $1 billion. That's usually the way that it goes. And, it doesn't, no matter what you might think as far as, the finances and the financial terms, we know for a fact that money won't necessarily, save you or save your marriage or save anything. If anything, it could cause you more problems. I mean, yeah, people say more money, more problems. And then, there's always the caveat. Well, yeah, I'd like to have those kind of problems. And to be honest, most people would. I mean, you think about it. Jeff Bezos worth what? Couple of $100 billion, divorced. Bill Gates, like $300 billion, divorced. Bill Gates said he was miserable in his marriage. He was lonely in his own marriage. And while most people don't understand that, there's a lot of people that do. And the billions didn't make him and his wife any closer. So, just because you have the money doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a success, or your marriage is going to be a success, or you're going to be a great friend or a great father or a great anything. And those things are important to me. Being a great husband, being a great father, being a great person, being a great son, a great big brother, being a great podcaster, to be real. But all of those things, all of those things kind of contribute to my happiness. But at the same time, happiness is a state in which I can control, that nobody else has any governance over but me. So money's a lot of things, but it's not something that for me makes me happy. It makes me comfortable and it allows me to do certain things. But I also understand that I've been at a place in my life where I had happiness and fun and I didn't have money and everything was cool. Now things flip up a little bit when you have responsibilities, of course. I can't be walking around with $20 with kids in college. That's just not smart. But no, I've come to appreciate the value of $1. I try not to spend the money that I make. I try not to spend it foolishly. Try to spend it on tangible things that, I can feel and touch. And, ultimately, like everybody else, I'm at a point where I want the money to really, really work for me as opposed to me working for the money. And, I've appreciated, I can definitely appreciate the financial journey that I've had and that I'm continuing on. Am I satisfied? No, because I'm still that guy, and again, I don't want anybody to think like I'm that guy that's chasing his first million, I just want to continue to be comfortable. And wherever I land financially, that's where I am. So, but contrary to what my good buddy King Germ over at the Frocast podcast thinks, he thinks I have money, but we know. I ain't got no money. And that's what we know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5Gs.
Are you really buying a car online on AutoTrader right now?
Really, I can get super specific with dealer listings and see cars based on my budget.
You can really have it delivered.
Or pick it up.
Mommy, look!
I think your kid is walking up the slide.
Really?
AutoTrader. Buy your car online. Really?
When the insurance company doesn't pay what you deserve after you've been hurt in an auto accident, the law firm of Greenberg & Betterman is here to help you. Get a free consultation today. Visit gblawyers.com. That's gblawyers.com and feel better.